I am all wet from the shower, but I know I'm not going to bother really getting dressed or doing anything after this, so this is as dressed as I'm probably going to get from this part of the day on. But anyway, so I had my IUI today. We did that at 8:30ish. I think I got out of there about 9. Which you might realize is 48 hours since I triggered with the shot. This whole weekend was fun. So, I mean, like I said before, I wasn't seeing my regular doctor this time. I was seeing the other guy in the practice. So he told me, you know, go home, do the ovulation kits, and then not come back, but like once it said I was ovulating, go ahead and trigger, and then come in for my IUI. Like, okay, fine. That's my original doctor wanted 36 hours. This doctor was like, I'll do it as soon as 1 hour. And I'm like, all right, whatever. We're doing it your way. So I trigger myself, and I try to call the office, and nobody would pick up the phone. I'm like, okay. And the only option was to call the emergency line. I was like, oh no, we're not calling the emergency line. It's not an emergency. I just, you know, I've triggered. I need to set up the time to come in for my IUI. So I go to belly dance practice, go have lunch, and my mom is, you know, she thinks about calling too, but again, it says, you know, for extreme emergencies only, and mom's like, oh, okay, well, let's just drive down there. And it's in downtown Dallas, it's about half an hour away. I mean, it's Saturday, so we're like, oh, okay. So we hop in the car, and we drive out to the facility in Dallas, and no one's there. We're like, oh, man. And I'm not sure if I mentioned it in my appointment video or not, but he had said that, you know, not only can you, you know, just show up, but he had specifically mentioned on the weekend, you know, those weekends. And I'm like, okay. It's like, huh, nobody's here. He said we could just show up. So, finally, my mom decided that she was going to call the extreme emergency line, and you can tell by this face I'm making that I didn't like that at all. I was not a fan of that decision. I sat, I think, in the car like this while she made the call, because I was just not, I hated it, I hated it. So, you know, we get through on the extreme emergency line to my normal doctor, because he's the one that's on call. And he says, you know, oh, we only see, you know, everyone arrives, you know, first thing in the morning, and they see to them all, and then once they've seen to them all, they leave. Because I guess Saturday is just the emergency day. They don't have normal hours that day. And he had left 45 minutes before we arrived. So I was like, oh my gosh. So, you know, had I not had belly dance practice, had my mom not been out to eat, just, you know, everything was working against us that day. So like, okay, fine. We'll just come in on Sunday. They're not opened on Sunday. Okay, so since I have triggered Saturday morning, the earliest we can get me in there is Monday morning, which is 48 hours after triggering. And like I said, last time we did it 36, and 36 is pretty much, I guess, what a lot of them go with. I mean, that not many will go after 36. 36 is their, you know, their target number after a certain point. So of course I'm just like, man, are we gonna have to just, you know, do a complete wash just because the doctor didn't articulate well enough what the weekend situation was going to be? Because I followed his instructions, but the clinic wasn't available, and just no information. It was so annoying. Anyway, so I went online and I was like, all right, you know, just trying to either, I wanted to be able to pull the trigger one way or the other. Am I going to go through with it at 48 hours, or are we just going to have to be like, let's not spend the $550 and waste the $1,000 worth of sperm, because it's just too late. So I go online, I do some research, try not to, you know, get a biased anything, so it was, you know, IUI after 48 hours. Just, you know, just, Brighton's got my foot between her claws right now, and she's licking my toes, so apparently she likes post-shower cocoa. Yes, stop. It slightly hurts. You've got very sharp nails, baby girl. Anyway, I don't know where I was, and it really does hurt. Ow! Give me my foot back. Thank you. Oh, God, where was I? Okay, so I went online and I just looked up, 48 hour, or IUI after 48 hours. Not benefits of, or, problems with, just flat out, whatever it gives me, it gives me. And one of the top 10 things was a scientific study. And those are boring to read. Those are extremely boring to read. And I wonder if I looked it up on this computer. If I did, I can just go ahead and tell you what the article was. And I did. I looked it up on my other computer. Whatever. So it's just, and it, like any scientific paper, first they, here's what we are going to, propose as our hypothesis. Here is, all the parameters of our experiment. Here is the, our experiment group. Here is our, the name escapes me. The thing you have to do normally so you can test against it. God damn, I can't remember anything right now. Control group. So, listed all the parameters there. It even explained how, certain people dropped out of the thing, for all the different reasons why they dropped out. Like, somebody couldn't get there, somebody was out of the country, or something like that. It was just kind of like, okay. So it goes in-depth and all that stuff. It was a really boring read. But at the end, their conclusion was that, IUI after 36 hours had about, I think they had it at a 10% rate with their control, whereas, 10% success rate, and I may get that wrong, but again, I don't have that computer in front of me right now, and their test group, which was at 48 hours, was like a 22% group. So based on their findings, they did find that actually it was statistically better to do it at 48 over 36, and since I had, just kind of, I hadn't been looking for, things to convince me to do it. So the fact that the first thing I got was a scientific study that said, yeah, it's perfectly acceptable to and works well to go ahead and do it at 48. So like, okay, we're gonna go ahead and do it. So Monday is my busy day at work. I think for most people, Monday is a difficult day anyway, but it's my busy day. And I had, just last week was an absolute shit show, and wasn't really looking forward to fixing things on Monday. And then I didn't even get to start my day until like 10. So I was like, oh my god. Yeah, so we had no appointment this morning because again, we talked to my doctor, while he had already left the clinic. He was, on his own time because we called the emergency line. So, there's no record of me coming in. So we just show up there, and I'm like, hi, I triggered 48 hours ago. I really need to have my IUI done. And they're just kind of like, do you have an appointment? I'm like, no. It's like, the doctor I saw had made it sound like that wasn't a thing that we needed to worry about, and I just did what he told me to do, and, so, I sit down, and the nurse calls me, and she wants to talk to me about, my IUI and stuff, and they're like, okay, yeah, we're gonna do it. I'm like, okay. So they had me sit down while I go in thought. I'm like, okay. They pull me back there when it's time. I get my feet in the stirrups. Doctor comes out with the syringe with my name on it, and I'm like, all right, good, my stuff. And then, he didn't do the douche like my first doctor did, which is fine. I don't care whatsoever. It was nice to not have, water rolling down my ass while I'm laying there. And he also didn't leave the speculum in. I was like, you mean that didn't have to happen last time? So after he was done, I got to take my feet out of the stirrups, put my legs together, and just lay there comfortably. Well, as comfortable as you can with a paper bag covered pillow behind your head that just makes all that horrible noise while you're trying to lay there. And then they only had me lay there for like 10 minutes, and last time they forgot about me and I was there for like 20. So like I said, like almost every single step this time has been completely different from the first time. So, yeah. It's like, okay. So I ended up just working from my mom's house. I just laid in her bed with the TV tray in front of me, and I just did my work laying in her bed. Just taking it easy. Needed a shower, took a shower, because I wasn't going to wake up at 5:30 this morning and get all dressed and ready to go, because just, no, I was tired. It was early, and the weekend had already been just, But, so I have now been filled with sperm, and I'm just going to try and not get stressed out over work for the next 2 weeks. But yeah, this week it was a real shit show too. It's like the week was bad, the weekend was just like, oh, I followed your instructions, why is nothing happening the way it was supposed to? And nothing ever goes the way it's supposed to, though. That's just the way the world works. So, yeah, I'm going to go and just veg. Probably watch some Minecraft. I don't know. Just take it easy. And be glad that all this is behind me. Blood test is 8:45 on October the 2nd. And, let me get that. There we go. And unlike last time, where we did it so late, that my period was, like, due, like, 2 days or 3 days before the blood test. And I was like, oh, I'm already gonna know if I'm pregnant or not before the blood test, because my period will be very late by the time that gets here. This time, we're doing the blood test before my period because we did everything earlier. And I did an ovulation test today just to make sure that I was still ovulating, and it still had, the line was fainter, but it still had 2 lines. But yeah, just, it's just been weird. I feel like the timing on this one was better, though, because it did seem weird to me that my period was supposed to start, like, 2 to 3 days before my blood test, whereas now my blood test, I think, is the day before my, period is supposed to start. So, everything just, timing-wise, feels better, but as far as, like, actually getting the IUI, that was a stressful thing, and I'm just, so glad it's over with, because this whole weekend, it was like, oh god, we're at 36 hours! Ah, what do I do? And then waking up this morning, we're at 48 hours! But I was gooey, so I'm sure that meant it was time. I don't know. It's time to go to bed. I've been up all day. And I'm tired of stressing. And I don't have to take the progesterone for another 4 days. So let's just keep thinking about that. That's the bright side. No progesterone for another 4 days. And then progesterone. But not for 4 days. See you, bye.